Hello everyone and welcome to Club Live here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. It is Friday, it is 6:30, it is beautiful outside, so what will we do? We will do a podcast. That's going to be the trend of things anyway. Anyway, I am Scott Carney and joining me tonight for a bit of a Q&A special is Ross McLean. Ross, how are you, mate?
Good evening, mate. Good evening, chat. Yeah, it's good to be here. Good to be here. It's been a long week, let's just say, as Rangers fans. Definitely needing a wee bit of therapy. I wasn't on during the week, so needing something to hopefully get us back up. But nah, good as always to be here, mate, and hope everyone in the chat is doing very well.
Absolutely, yes. Hello, chat. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight. And yes, it is just Ross and myself tonight. You all know I'm not very good at multitasking, but I will do my best to get as many comments and up as you like as we go forward. So tonight, yeah, we'll do a bit of a Q&A. We've got questions from our Patreon members. I'll try and get to ones in the chat as well, depending on time. If we need to roll it on and do another pod another time, then we will do so. So yes, everybody get involved, and we will get as many questions answered as we can over the next hour or so. First, before I come to the questions, Ross, just quickly, the European squad was announced and no involvement for Danilo. It was reported that he has went to get a second operation on his knee, rumoured to be out 3 or 4 weeks, but no inclusion of him in the European squad. Bit of a strange one for me, this, I'm not going to lie, mate. It's left me thinking a wee bit that we're going to be short up top. I was shocked when I seen it. I'm shocked that he's had to go for another operation. As a setback, it happens with long-term injuries. Sometimes things will reoccur or something will happen and it will need kind of further surgery, further maintenance, if you like. So a bit disappointing in that regard. But what's your thoughts on the European selection? Because that's us only with Dessers and Iganami for the entirety of the league stage, if you like.
Yeah, it's a big blow. I mean, it's put a lot of pressure, especially in young Agamani by the looks of it. If he's going to come in and be the potential, obviously, look like Dessers is going to be the starting number 9, but for him coming in, chucks it into an old firm at the weekend, and here you are going to be the number 2 for the European run. So, yeah, it's with Danilo, I think just those first 2 injuries just seem to have taken stuffing out the guy a bit. He's obviously marquee signing whenever, and we're absolutely buzzing to have him there. And I hope that I'd love nothing more to come back and be the guy that we hope they would be. But it's definitely a concern up top. You're looking at. I was even going to say, Chuck. You've got the likes of Matondo, but you don't even have him anymore. You're relying on the likes of Tierney, on Dessers. No Scott Wright, unfortunately. We all, of course, Scott Wright leaves now when we need him, but it's typical Rangers, mate. Injuries FC, and it's up to D9 now going forward.
Yeah, him and Aganami, yeah, and obviously we've only seen 10 minutes of him at the end of an Old Firm drubbing, mate, so it's hard to really know what to expect from him as of yet. I expect to see him get minutes pretty soon, but I just found it odd that he decided not to include Danilo, considering it is only meant to be 3 or 4 weeks that he's out. 2 of these weeks are international, so you would think he would be back within another 2 to 3 weeks after that, possibly, and he's not involved. We're in that group stage until the end of January, so there's a lot of football to be played before then, so I am a bit shocked. I didn't go deep dived into it and see if we had eligible spaces for him to be able to play because of the ridiculous rules that UEFA have in terms of who you can include in your squad. But I did find it rather strange. Also, Matondo, mate, as you just mentioned before I come to the questions, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks with a hamstring injury. This is another one for me that makes me wonder why we didn't choose to move Matondo on. We were linked with Dozie in the window. We pulled out of the deal by all reports. Matondo's got a history of getting injuries. There's absolutely no doubt. I was probably a wee bit too critical of him because I said that he chucked it blatantly. He hadn't chucked it in the Old Firm. He's obviously 6 to 8 weeks, so egg on face, all of the above. But another one, mate, where you're left short in that area again. However, it's good news that Cortez has been included.
Definitely, that's a big positive. I think it's interesting. I didn't realise either, mate, that it's till that end bit of January that it's it's not just like a few weeks and that's our squad. No, that's us. So again, you're hoping that Alexis Cortez can step up. There's a good point in the chat there saying how it wasn't long ago. Obviously, in the Europa League, Fitter Strikers had Aribo playing the number 9, so it's just it's just typical. But you've got to look at it in the case of right, it's happened. Like I think, unfortunately, we need to live with these things just now, and okay, need to see what we do with the young players. You've also got. I don't. Was Zach Lovelace in the squad? That's actually bad.
I don't know, mate. Actually, I don't know. 100%. Somebody in the chat will tell me, mate. Somebody in the chat will tell you.
No, it's all good. So yeah, I mean, definitely, it's just again, we'll just need to see what happens. But got to take it on the chin, and yeah, it's up to the lads now to do the business.
Yeah, I feel like with an injury, in anywhere across our front line before we are in a real sticky situation in terms of having real quality there to come in and or real options even, I should say, maybe not real quality, because quality isn't really flowing through the team at the minute, but the real options that we'll have across that front line if something is to happen. But yeah, as you say, mate, it is what it is. That's the team we've went for, and now it's up to the people who that were included in the squad to stand up and be counted. And Gregor's just said no, he wasn't included, so no, Lovelace isn't even there either. So yes, well, there we go. We'll leave that at that, and we'll move on to your questions. So we'll start with questions from our Patreon members. Alan Martin said, with severe lack of fight shown by the team, do you feel the likes of Alex Rae could do more to install better mentality into the squad? I think personally with Alex Rae, he's only going to be allowed to do as much talking as Clement allows him to do. I think Alex Rae fully understands what this club is and what it's all about. I'd got zero doubts about that, but it'll be probably quite hard for him to change the mentality of a whole dressing room. However, Ross, I'm still of the opinion there definitely has to be a bit of a sit down, listen, lads, do you understand what team you're playing for here?
Definitely. I mean, as soon as we got that book at the weekend, I was like, yep, he's our guy. But I think one thing over the last few windows that's I don't think yet it's been replaced is kind of first of all in about the team. You're losing the likes of your McGregors, your Morelos, your now Goldson, Steve Davis, Scott Arfield, you name it. You're letting go of a lot of players who fundamentally, when we were at our peak at 55 in recent times, were probably you probably looked at it as the glue of the team, and more so the longer players come in, your seasons go on, they're going to be the guys who sit people down, pull them aside and go, right, this is what we're about, and they'll set a standard. Just now in the team, you've got Tav, I'd put Butland in there as well, but in terms of people who have been here and, understand what it's all about, we need definitely, as if Alex Rae can be the guy to kind of reiterate those things, then yeah, definitely. I think you're right, Clement will only let him do as much as he lets him. But yeah, he's a handy guy to have about, that's for sure. I don't know too much into the guy, but definitely by the looks of it, he seems like somebody who can be that guy to pull him aside and go, hey, this is what's needed. And after the weekend, mate, there's a few of those conversations need to happen.
Yeah, you're going to make me feel very old here, Ross, and say that you don't remember Alex Rae playing for Rangers. Is that right?
I do not, mate. No, I do not.
Oh my God, man!
I'm too. The Rangers points, that's shocking. I know. Just yeah. But no, Alex Rae is not my team, unfortunately.
Oh, mental. Dinky Alice said, sack the board, sell the club. Thank you very much for the donation as well. Unfortunately, it's not a case of being able to sack the club. You can't sack the board. You even can't sack the club. You certainly can't sack the club. You can't sack the board. And Lewis, actually, that kind of all ties in, because Lewis, Simon on Patreon also asked, do you think there are enough Rangers men around the club to take us forward? I do know that there is Rangers men on our board. My biggest problem is with the people that are on the board is they have no experience of running a football club, or a football club that the size of or being involved in running a club the size of Glasgow Rangers. And I think that's a real point that where we're at now, Ross. After the disappointment of the weekend, it was always inevitable that the board were going to get questions flung at them. They're going to get some criticism flung towards them, and I believe rightly so. I really do, because some of the decisions we've made have been crazy and have been wrong, and have kind of led us down paths that we've kind of ended up resulting in the squad that we currently have and the result that we've seen on Sunday. I think the board are at a point where they have to look at themselves and ask, are they the right people for the job to take Rangers forward?
Definitely. Deservedly, they'll probably get the brunt of it the majority of the time, especially just now. And I don't need to bring the mood down a bit, but if you were to look at the squad that is just now, from the 55 season, would you say it's in terms of the optimism about the club, how the club's going, would you say it's the lowest since then? Would you?
Probably, yeah, probably.
No.
I think I would probably go along with that. I think there's been, and people are saying it in the chat now, even as we're saying it, there's been a regression. We and it's easy saying things in hindsight, it really is. We were blindsided by 55, I think, as fans and as a club. And I'm not saying that's acceptable or it's an excuse, but as fans, you're allowed to be. As a club, we shouldn't have been. The club should have been more forward thinking at that point, thinking, if we win 55, what do we do then? Instead, we kind of got there. Everybody went, hurrah, we've done it. And then went, okay, what do we do now? Instead of thinking, right, this is a contingency plan. The players that had reached their peak at that point should have moved on. I've got absolutely no doubt about that. The money was there. We would have got good money for the players because we had just won the league, etc., etc. COVID was a wee bit of a stumbling block in terms of the way that the transfer market was running. But really, since then, mate, we've went down the way. We've not really went up the way or got to where you would think we would get after reaching the 55th title.
Aye, definitely. Don't get me wrong, I think the board, kind of off the pitch, you look at it and say, Edmonton House, yep. Museum, yep. Brilliant. Disabled seating, love it. On the park is where the board, the manager, the players all going to be judged. Taking nothing away from the incredible what they're doing off the pitch. It's been you look back and you'd probably say more negatives than positives from the current board, even going back to the likes of the Australia friendly, that's still a thing. But that was a thing. So yeah, mate, they'll be right in the firing line. And I think definitely as well, get people out talking, see the interviews, let it known what the philosophy is, what the plans are for the club. I can't remember who it was who mentioned it on the pod, but just kind of along the lines of there's no it almost seems like there's no direction where we're going just now. It's just kind of hanging on and seeing how we're doing up to Christmas. So definitely from a board point of view, we need some sort of reassurance, I guess, as fans. And yeah, mate, let's get talking, and hopefully we can see some more positivity coming from them.
I think the board need leadership, and I'm not going to sit and criticise guys that have plunged their own money into the football club. We will always thank them for doing that. However, I think there is a real lack of direction, a lack of clear strategy of where we're going and what we're following. I think it's imperative and I'm surprised it's not already done, that Rangers appoint a CEO. I think that has to happen. And from that point, the CEO has to then come out to the fans and set out the clear direction, clear strategy, the long-term goals, short-term goals, you name it, from top to bottom about where the club is going, and give the fans reassurance. Because the silence that happens when things are going bad and we don't really know what's happening, what direction we're going, there's a vacuum created and people fill it. All of a sudden, there's all sorts of rumours flying about, yada, yada, yada. And before you know it, it's all over by the kitchen sink. So we need some form of leadership to come in and direct the club, direct the fans, and let us know what's happening. Sometimes the fans, even though if it's going to be bad news, genuinely will accept it, because at least we've been told. At least we're told for the horse's mouth exactly what way we're going to go. It's going to be hard to accept probably, but ultimately that's what needs to happen. We need to get to a point, CEOs in place. I would probably employ some form of director of football as well, and then we take it from there. We take it on from there. But the club have to get this done, and it really should be in place already. But by the end of this international window, this window, it should 100% be done. There should be an announcement of a CEO. That's me not saying that there's anything in the pipeline. I don't know, but I think the club would be daft not to have something in place by the end of this the international break. Gaz has asked, how can we change the recruitment mentality to start bedding in homegrown youth from the best in academy and from the Scottish market? Is the quality that bad in our own backyard? An interesting one for me, this. I think that there has been players that have came through that have had real potential. Patterson's obviously the clear and most obvious one in recent times that's worked. I don't think it works as much as it should. However, not everybody that comes through the youth academy is going to go on and be a success for Rangers. They will go somewhere else in Scotland and they will have a fine career. Absolutely get zero doubt about that. But I think right now, that probably leads me back to winning 55. There should be a plan in place at that point to pick the best four youth players, get them embedded into the team and start progressing them through that way, because the sun was shining on us. We were happy. Everything was going fine. These players would have been awarded a chance. We'd won the league and the kind of pressure of that was off. I feel now the pressure is now back on so much that the players won't be rewarded the opportunity, and people will always say, oh, we'll give them time, we'll give them patience. If we are 1-0 down against Motherwell at home in the 88th minute and there's a youth boy on the park and he makes a hooring arse of a pass, he's going to get it tight. Do you know what I mean? And that's natural. That's what the Rangers fans expect. So that can't be changed, and it never will be changed. But I do think there has to be more success happening within the youth system. We invest a lot of money into the youth system and we definitely don't see the rewards for it, I don't think, on the other end. There is players currently within the squad that I'm excited about. I think Rice needs to get another opportunity, because when I seen him at first I thought he looked cracking. He looked absolutely ready to go. McKinnon's kind of flirted with the first team a little bit. McCausland's obviously one that's came through and kind of steadied himself into the first team squad, if you like, not the kind of starting 11, but he's definitely within the first team squad. And then obviously your Robbie Fraser as well is another one that I think has got potential. What do you think about the whole youth system, Ross? Should we be seeing more results from the investment that Rangers make in it?
Yeah, you'd hope so, definitely. There's definitely, as you say, there's bright sparks there. The likes of Lowry coming in, obviously there's kind of question marks about him just now. Maybe his attitude, but I think it's kind of one thing. Obviously, Ryan was very keen on getting Ferguson in. It's very much, mate, strike while the iron's hot. See if there's a Scottish talent out there, go and get him. Because these players like your Fergusons will go off to Italy or wherever, and that's not only a good player potentially coming in, but it's money made that you can profit off of. So I think we can't turn our nose up at Scottish talent in our team, but also from elsewhere. If there is players that look like they could be prospects, and as you say, mate, you know what the Ibrox crowd is like, and that's one thing I think it was yourself who mentioned in the pod. See if you get these boys in playing under the Ibrox crowd, so they can make those mistakes. That's fine, as long as we don't completely Leon Kingdom, if you will, and when they get 7 past Liverpool, absolutely just write the guy off. But there's there's talent out there, mate. It's just up to scouting to see who you can get, but also obviously it's up to the players themselves in the B team to make the step through. But yeah, there's you definitely looked at it and say just now it's probably underwhelming. But at the same time, let's just remember that there's talent in the country, and they don't all need to have a cool name like Cifuentes or something to be a cool player.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate, and I do absolutely agree. But I think I was always a wee bit sceptical about going into the kind of Scottish market. However, when you're seeing who we are recruiting or we have recruited in the past few years, would we really have been any worse than exploiting the Scottish market? Probably not. I think if anything, you would have at least a bit more of that dig and desire that we're so badly looking for. Because again, players that played in Scotland completely understand that. And I also think we're getting to a point now where, look, the league is not going to be won by Rangers, barring something absolutely miraculous happening. I would be looking to use as many youth players as you can. I'm not saying bring in the whole B team and play them from the start. I don't mean that. But there'll be players that we'll be able to give game time to coming up. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Players like I just previously mentioned, they should be getting their chance now. This is a chance. If this is a real transition year that we've got to go through, and we're all kind of coming round to the idea of this, unfortunately, then this is a good time. It's a good time to put these players in, give them a chance, let them make the mistakes that they're going to make, let them learn for it, let them get ready, and hopefully by the time next season comes around, you've got a bit of an asset and a bit of a quality option to have. There's no doubt that there'll be talent there. There's absolutely zero doubt. Rangers are good at terms of recruiting young talent into the club. The bad bit is that we are right next door to the behemoth that is English football, and they will come in and they will offer a boy a contract for 4 years on wages that Rangers can't even get close to, life-changing money. And I'll never say that's a bad thing. Billy Gilmore's a perfect example. Quite right that he took the money. I would have done exactly the same. It'd be hard for you not to do so, no matter how much of a blue nose you are and how through and through that you are. If somebody's making you that amount of money, making that offer for you for that amount of money a week, I've struggled to find anybody that would say no to it. Same as people that go to Saudi. I'm like, go fill your boots for a few years, get minted, and absolutely. I say the same. Somebody offered me 3, 4, 5 times my wage right now to go to Saudi for 2 years to do my job. 100%. Cheerio. I'll see you in a couple of years, and you'd be absolutely fine when you come back. Like, so there's definitely room for Rangers to be using youth players more. I don't think there's any great doubt about that. Bluebells are blue. Thank you so much for the 10 quid, mate. That is absolutely fine. €10, I think it is. Yeah, €10. Absolutely superb. Thank you so much. He says, news from Hong Kong is that investment is there if the parks are removed. Less talk of sack the board, more talk of who from the board that is holding us back. Thoughts, Scott? Again, it's rumour and speculation in it, so it's hard to really say. I'm not for one to... I barely know some of the players that we are signing, never mind businessmen that would be able to come in and run the club properly, and that's me being genuinely honest. So I just think it's important that we get someone that's got experience. Maybe there is sticking points. There's always going to be politics. Look, Dave King's got the politics with the parks as well. We all know that there's always bits there, but I just want somebody in that knows how to run the club, knows what decisions to make in the big moments, and to get our due diligence right, because we've not done that previously. The stadium work, for example, is perfect. There was no contingency plan there for that, which again for me is crazy, the fact that there wasn't. There should have been something in place for that. So I don't think it's really about the politics between people. You're going to need the right guys to come in and invest. It has to be for the right reasons. We can't just have people have to really set out their long-term goals of wanting to just plunge money into Rangers. It's not an attractive league. The chances of you getting some serious money back are pretty slim. So it's all to be for the love of the club or for the love of football, whatever way you want to look at it. I mean, I would love nothing more than a Saudi sheikh to come in and go, there's all the money in the world, by the way, do what you like with it. But realistically, that isn't going to happen because of where we play football ultimately. We can be a bigger club as we are around the world, which our stature is, but ultimately whoever invests into the club is going to want something back for it, and they just have to be the right people for the job, I think. Anything further to add on that, Ross?
We've seen Dujon Sterling a little bit apart. I reckon he could make a good member of the board, Dujon Sterling. Nah, seriously, I don't. I'm not sure. I'm not, likewise with yourself, just someone to definitely steady the ship. See the comment there about Elon Musk. By the way, Ibrox with the X, there's your money. There's your 150 million right there. But it's somebody mate to come in, as you say, steady the ship, make the right decisions, and speak up. Again, just say simple things, and something that a club of our stature should be the absolute bare minimum. And yeah, I mean, let's just hope that somebody can come in soon.
Yeah, we'll need to wait and see. As I said, I think whoever's in the board just now, I don't think there's any real plans for any of them to move on. But again, the James Bisgrove thing kind of came out of left field and out of nowhere as well. So you never know. You generally never know. But just need proper guys that have experience of running a football club the size of Rangers on the board and to make the decisions. Be it advisors, be it whoever it needs to be. But there has to be some form of direction. And right now we're kind of rudderless at the moment. We're kind of rudderless. Stephen McNeil has asked, I get it wasn't fun at the time, but I was one of the very few who didn't want us to sack Gio. I don't think we've moved forward at all in nearly 2 years since he left. In hindsight, did we pull the trigger on him too quickly? Ross, I'll let you take that one first.
Yeah, it's definitely one that it does come back. It does get brought up quite a wee bit. I think domestically you had to. At the time, you had to, there was no consistency in Mossad. There was no, I guess, looking like that was going to change either. I think he was quite stubborn in the way that he played, and that was the way we were going to play. Obviously, Gio is, as I'm sure everyone else in the chat will be further grateful for the memories that Gio brought us. Some of the best nights of my life with my brother, that Leipzig night, whatever. I'll never thank enough for that. But I think it's very much hindsight's a wonderful thing, is it? Like, I think at the time he was away and deservedly so. And I do think that it was the right move to make. Do I think if he was still in place just now, where would it be? I'm not gonna lie, mate, I wouldn't want to think about it. I think domestically it wasn't going to happen for me, unfortunately. So all the best to him just now. I think he's looking to get his career up and running again in terms of management, which is absolutely brilliant to see. But no, he's always welcome back at Ibrox, but unfortunately not in the dugout.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted Van Bronckhorst to work so much when we appointed him. I thought this would be absolutely amazing if this works. It really will. And to a degree, I think he got lost. I do. I think he got lost in what he was trying to do. Again, I agree. What he done for us in Europe is, you can't ever take that away from him. You really can't. It's something that will live with us forever on, even if we didn't get the end result we wanted, unfortunately. But it is some of the best nights, and I say that Leipzig game at Ibrox, I will never forget that. As long as I live, I will never forget that game. That was one of the most incredible experiences of my entire life. Away from football as well, it was truly spectacular. It honestly was. I've never felt so much cohesion in a fan base before in my life. It was incredible. But ultimately, what let him down was the just lack of creativity his style of football was creating against a low block teams in the league. That's where he fell down. Obviously, it came out after it that he wasn't properly backed, and no, he probably wasn't. Ultimately, I don't know if that would have made a great deal of difference because of the style of football that he was choosing to play. So, unfortunately, it was one that I was like, I called for it when the time was coming for him to go. I was like, he has to go. Like, he literally has to go. We're not progressing at all. We were making same mistakes over and over again, and the horseshoe football, when it doesn't work, is one of the most frustrating things in the world to watch. It really is. But against a back six, as sometimes we play against the Ibrox, it was never going to work, unfortunately, and it's what led to his demise. I think he got things spot on in Europe at times. I thought he was absolutely on the ball with it, but the sheer lack of progression in the league is what led to his demise. So yeah, I'm the same. I called for him to go, so I can't really go back on that. I can't really go back on that. Bluebells are blue. I have just seen that, but it is time for, as we say, unfortunately, it's not unfortunate. I thank Manscaped a lot for doing it, but it is time for the Manscaped promo. This episode is brought to you by the top team in men's grooming, Manscaped. This season, don't just watch the best, be the best with the ultimate grooming tools. With the Manscaped Performance Package 5.0, keep your balls smooth and ready to play. Because whether it's football or anything else, you don't want to be caught with a rough touch. Head over to manscaped.com and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using the code CLUBAT22 for 20% off and free shipping. Meet your new marquee signing this season, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. I wonder if you can play up front or on the wing. Don't know. I'll need to find out. I'll message Manscaped and ask them that. It's like having the best groundskeeper in the league on your own personal pitch. This trimmer comes with 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, one for precision trimming and a new foil blade for a smooth finish wherever you need it most. Keep your pitch perfectly smooth. This waterproof wonder is ready for anything, not even a cold, wet night in Dingwall. Its compact case makes it an ideal companion, ready for any away day or last-minute plans. No matter where you go, you can stay sharp and match ready. The Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer is your star defender, keeping those pesky ear and nose hairs out of play so you stay looking sharp. Keep your confidence high with the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion and Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, because even the best players need a little extra support to stay fresh all day, both on and off the pitch. The Performance Package 5.0 also comes with 2 free gifts: the Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo and the Shed 2.0 Toiletry Bag. Premium gear to ensure you're always ready for action. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code CLUBAT22 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code CLUBAT22 at manscaped.com. Thank you very much to Manscaped for their continued support of this podcast. Thank you to everybody that uses our code, because using our code on Manscaped's website, you are supporting this podcast. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, the snipers just asked, Scott, it still annoys me they haven't gone to 22% yet. Me too. I've asked a couple of times, Aldo, mate, generally, and they keep saying no. So I'm like, please let it be 22. I mean, well, come on, what difference is 2 more percent, mate? But yes, no, Manscaped stuff is generally top draw. Honestly, it is superb. The stuff is great, and they have been absolutely brilliant with us, and they're with us right up to the end of this calendar year anyway, so very happy to be sponsored by Manscaped. Back to the questions we go. This is Steve O'Gels. He said, if we're going with Dessers, Danilo, Iganami and possibly Lovelace, can Phil not try 2 up top and rotate these forwards to get minutes in the legs? I'll link this in with another one. Where is it? From Blue Brian, who said, why do we possess with the number 10 position? We have no one to play in that position. Obviously, we've made the signing of Barjami now, so you would like to think he's going to come in there. But I get his point. Have a strong 3 in our midfield that won't stop us from being constantly overrun in that area. What's your take on the formation that we're playing just now, Ross? It looks like with the signing of Barjami that we're going to stick with the 10. I would imagine that Lovelace, what's his name, Lawrence, will be the backup to Barjami, and I think the 10 will stay. The midfield 2, I would imagine, is going to be Barron and Diomande that sit behind the 10. I don't think there'll be any great change in that, even with Raskin coming back or with Sterling. My opinion with the signing of Barjami, before I come to you, is I would stick with the 10 and see what he's about first, and I think that also frees up Sterling, who I would start at right back. That's pretty much as simple as I can put that. What do you think, Ross?
Yeah, I think the point about the 2 strikers up top, I think, I don't know, if Clement was thinking about that, I think we probably would have seen something like that by now. I can't think of, obviously at the weekend we had Dessers and Igamani, who kind of on paper 2 strikers, Igamani's playing off the wing. I don't know, I think he's definitely, by the looks of it, building his team around that kind of 4-2-3-1 with the 10. So yeah, it's, I don't know, it's definitely the one thing that fans are crying out for just now is some sort of identity, some sort of change, some sort of, what we're doing. Could that be a potential, playing the 2 strikers? That's a great point. Just something that's a wee bit different from the football we're seeing just now. I think if we are going to do that, then that's that Danilo out is an even bigger one, because if we do move to that 2 strikers up top, you are looking at with no Lovelace, it is Zingerman and Dessers. So I think we'll probably stick with Dessers up top. In terms of number 10, I'm just hoping that Bajrami's the guy. I was on holiday to Albania, and I've got a kit. I've literally got it in my cupboard, waiting until he scores a hat trick. I'll bring it out. No, I'm hoping that he can bring something. It's definitely a signing in terms of Bajrami that is so needed. It's so needed. I mean, you're relying on, as you say, Lawrence and Kieran Dill, the man himself, which we cannot hold our hopes on that. I'm sorry, we can't. So yeah, I think we need to probably just persist with what Clement's doing just now. I actually do agree. I think 2 strikers up top. I'd love to see give it a bash, something different. You know, I remember the 55 season. Obviously, you had Ruth and Mellis up top for a while. It worked. It obviously did the job. So if we have the facilities to do it, if we have the players to do it, then let's give it a go. But for the time being, I think it'll be D9 up top and Bajrami as a 10.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I think Clement is quite rigid. I think in terms of wanting to change things, I don't think he'll change things too much. I think the only thing he will do is play either a flat 3 or a 2 and a 2, a 6, 8 and a 10, if you like. I don't think he would go kind of 4-4-2. I'm the same. I would quite like to see it. I think we've been looking for kind of something different for a while. I can't remember if I said it on the preview when we done it at the Viceroy. I can't remember if I said it actually on the pod, but I said I wouldn't be opposed to doing it against Celtic and putting a 4-4-2 on and playing 2 up top, or even moving Matondo up front to be next to Dessers at the time, to see if Dessers can get the support that he's going to need. And I unfortunately, I don't think there will be a great change in it. I think Clement will probably stick with what he has just now and continue to try and build on it with this inverted wing backs as well that we're beginning to see as well. I think there'll be something in that in terms of Bajrami playing in the 10. So no, I think because of the signing of Bajrami, and it is a good signing by Rangers. It's a signing that kind of came out of nowhere towards the end of the window. Nobody really thought it was going to happen, and all of a sudden it was on, and he's came in for what looks to be will be decent money anyway. So you would like to think that he's going to be the guy that hopefully holds some of the answers. I wouldn't say all. I think that's a bit too much pressure to put on the guy, but you would like to think that he holds some of the answers to the kind of creativity problems that we've been having. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing him, though I am. It's one thing I am looking forward to seeing Rangers again is seeing him play. And I'm very much hoping it's the first game as soon as we go back, because I've got no reason to expect it not to be, because why would it not be? But, Clement, he might take 4.5 months before he can even put on a football boot. So we'll need to wait and see. We will need to wait and see. But yes, we'll move on to that. Matt Burt said, surely we're due a 4th kit drop soon and add salt into the wounds with a catchy slogan. Probably, mate. Yeah, I would hold on to your hat for that. That's probably coming very soon. And Robert Stewart's asked, do you think Clement has the balls to drop Tav? Interesting one. Ross, there's been rumours kicking about that Tav's got interest in Turkey and Qatar, I think it is. Not really solid sources, to be completely honest. After I did a bit of digging, there wasn't great ones that you would kind of hang your hat on. Obviously, the abuse that we've seen Tavernier get was kind of bang out order, I think. I don't think it was very fair to do that to him. We shouldn't be acting like that. It's as simple as that. I understand the frustration, don't get me wrong, but we shouldn't be acting like that. There's different ways to do it. And do I think he's got the balls? I think he's got the balls, but I don't think he'll do it. I don't think he'll also strip him with the captaincy either, that a lot of people call for. I've had my say on it before. Stripping Tavernier the captaincy, in my opinion, will achieve absolutely nothing apart from turmoil in your dressing room. I don't see the point in doing it. If he doesn't play, then he isn't technically the captain anyway on the pitch, is he? Somebody else is going to need to wear the captain's armband. However, Ross, we cannot get away from now that Tavernier now knows that he has lost what he used to be, and it's becoming a bit of a slog to watch him make the same mistakes now, kind of over and over again, and to see a guy kind of on the decline. I don't think it is form. I do think it is that he's lost his legs a bit. I think his mind wants him to do things that his legs won't do, and unfortunately, I just think it's coming towards the end of James Tavernier being a regular starter. I would love to think Clement will drop him. I'm not 100% sure that he will, but I think it's now time, it's neither now or never, for Sterling to come in and try and nail down that right back position, because for me, Sterling's not a midfielder. Let's give him a go at the position that he wants to play in.
If Clement wants to keep his job, he needs to drop Tav, especially against Celtic. It's came to the point where, I'm a Tav fan myself. The weekend was a hard watch, man. The weekend, and every game has been a hard watch, unfortunately, with Tav at right back, especially up against the pace. And that's it's a good point there. It's the stability. Yeah, I think Tav, he's been a great servant for the club. He has, and I completely agree. Stripping the captaincy does nothing. If an offer came in for him, yep, I'd say move him on for especially the money that Qatar, Saudi would be offering. Clement needs to, it's frustrating because he's, by the looks of it with Sterling, he's got the tools there. You need to use it. You've got your right back there. I think it was, I can't remember where I saw it, but the Newcastle captain, that I believe their centre back is, I can't remember the boy's name, I apologise, but basically he doesn't start for them, he's on the bench, and he captains them from the bench. So it's not out of the realms that, Tav, he can still be the captain, and he's he's not exactly in the starting 11. Going back to the point from early on, Tav is one of the guys who have been there, done that, they've wore the t-shirt to win the league. He knows what it means, it's good to have him at the club. On the pitch, Sterling's a guy going forward, and again, I don't know what else Clement needs to see from that. He needs to play Sterling, and as you say, with Badrami, hopefully it's from the start next weekend. So yeah, it's a slow one. I'm a massive Tav fan, but for the sake of the team, the league, Clement's job, and our sanity, just do John Sterling from the start, please.
I can't disagree with, and I think even the way you started that there, that for the sake of his job, he can't play him in Old Firm games, because what do you expect to happen? We all knew what was going to happen. Clement must have known he's a smart guy, man. He's no daft. He must have known that it was going to happen, but yeah, he just let it happen. I think the time is for him to, and I'm the same, mate. I think I've been a Tav fanboy for years. I really have, and people that have watched the podcast will know that. But everybody has an end. Everybody has a decline, and usually that decline's not gradual. It's usually a cliff that they fall off. Alan McGregor was kind of prime example of it. He fell off a cliff pretty quickly. So I just think if Clement's got any real serious intentions of building for the future, then it's time to remove Tavernier from it and build something. These players might not know what it is to play for Rangers, but use this time that you're going to be rewarded now, barring any massive, absolute catastrophe, but the time you're going to be rewarded as we accept this unnecessary transition that we need to go through as a club and as a squad. But start preparing for the future without James Tavernier being there. He's not offering anything that he used to. He's nowhere near offering what he used to, and at that point he was never a great defender anyway. So what do we hope to achieve with him starting for Rangers? So yeah, I'm in agreement, mate. If Clement wants to really give himself the best possible option of lasting long term, or at least the length of his contract anyway, then Tavernier has to be rotated at the very, very least. But thank you for your question, Robert Stewart. Very much appreciated. Cliff McLaren asked, the players we have signed, I'm not saying they're bad players, but do you think they underestimate the teams in the Scottish League and think because they're playing in Scotland that the players are not as skillful? We've had this with players in the past, i.e. Cantwell, etc. I'm not sure if they underestimate it. I think it's quite a difficult... Scottish football is probably one of the most goldfish bowl leagues there is in the world. I wouldn't expect anything to be under such scrutiny all the time. I think a few of them might get a bit of a shock, as I say, when they go to Dingwall on a Tuesday night and it's absolutely pissing it down with rain and you've got to go out and play football in it, and some of them might have never done something like that before. But if they are underestimating it, then that falls on the manager, in my opinion. That falls on who you're recruiting. You have to be signing the people with the right attitude. Everybody can give a good job interview, don't get me wrong. Cough, cough, Pedro Caixinha. But they have to know from the start, as a manager, as soon as that first training session starts, you have to express to them the standards that are expected. So I don't know if I can buy that the players underestimate it, because the manager's job is to have them fit, firing and ready for whatever opponent you're going to play. Do you agree, Ross?
100%, mate. 100%. It's a tricky one telling, poor Jeffy coming from the sands of Brazil that he's going up to Kilmarnock on a Wednesday. Like, there's
to play on a plastic pitch. I know
a plastic park, mate. Honestly,
what is
come
this?
on.
What is this?
No. I know. I think definitely in recent years, again, going back to Europa League run, players maybe like your Cantwells have looked at the club and the first thing they've seen when they've scrolled on their phone has been those European nights, those big nights at Ibrox, and that's why Rangers, if Thursday nights are Rangers nights, where the team steps up. Do the players underestimate in the league potentially? I think, but you're right, mate. It all comes from the top down. I think one thing that's so important, I've got it noted down from my notes at the weekend, is that first of all, most important game you're ever going to play in a Rangers shirt is against the other side of the city. If we continue to lose these games, which we have done, then this, I guess the down in tools, the mentality from the current team, that's going to fall into your new players. The likes of your Diamandis, your Troppers, your maybe not. Barron will, he's from Scotland, he'll understand it, but you can't keep losing against Celtic and just go, we're used to it, that's what happens. No, not at all. So players, they can't underestimate the bread and butter to us fans, which is the league, domestic trophies for the European nights. The European nights are brilliant, and I cannot wait for the fixtures coming up. But if players, if they aren't willing to go up to Kilmarnock on the Wednesday night and treat it as they are playing Tottenham, Man U, then unfortunately it's not a club for us, mate. Not a club for them, sorry. But no, I caveat that with, mate, you're right, that it all comes from the manager. It's him, it's the captain, it's the Alex Rays who tell them that this is what it's all about. And unfortunately, no more sandy beaches for Jeffy for the time being.
No more sandy beaches at all, mate. No, I think if you go up to Campbelltown, there's a nice one up there. I think the big sand dunes up there, I think they're lovely. But no more, no sandy beach for them just now. But yeah, I think I agree, but it's all down to the leadership on the coaching staff, the manager, the captain, everybody to install it into them as soon as they come in the door. Exactly what is expected of them. It is really as simple as that. But the recruitment should be better in the sense of that we are recruiting the right people with the right attitude, I think. And I think players like Cantwell's a risk. Everybody knew that he had previous from falling out with managers and whatever else, and ultimately it came to rear its head again. And the nonsense that he's got to come out because he loves an interview and he can't keep his mouth shut. But I'm not going to give him their time because it's probably not worth it. But another guy that will look back on his career and go, what could have been if only I knuckled down and I put on the right attitude at times where I could have got to. But yes, thank you very much for your question. We'll move on. Ian McGowan, this is a quick one for me. Would you sack Clement now? And if so, who would be on your next manager shortlist? I'm not just saying this because I'm not sure who the next manager would be, but I don't think sacking the manager right now is a very good idea. He has just had two windows where he's recruited players. We don't know if they are going to be the right players or not. Don't get me wrong, we need to give it time, but I just feel like it would be a backward step to sack the manager right now, and I think the board will do their utmost to give him at least this full season as Rangers manager. Ross?
Echo everything, mate. Echo everything. If we sack Clement, it's more than 2 steps backwards. He's obviously, that contract he's been given is definitely secure until the end of the season, unless absolute disaster happens, which unfortunately is out of the realms of possibility just now. But I think if Clement was to go, then jings, mate, I've got the inflatable sharks in the back of my car. But no, mate, unfortunately, we just need to persevere. Clement, he's I do think he's a guy. I do honestly think he's a guy. And if it is going to take this season, although minimum we need to be winning stuff this season. I understand he's trying to build something, but we as fans obviously need to accept that it's going to take time. It's going to take time. So Clement's, he's going to stay, I think, and yeah, mate, just as long as he doesn't come out and say the whole shots on target thing, that's stuff like that does my head in this. You know.
Stop that! I know. When he said that, I was like, "Shut up! Don't be sitting there quoting stats at me after what I've just watched." But again, Clement's only trying to protect the players, and I do get that. And he's trying to protect himself to a certain extent. He can't really come out and just go, "That was absolutely atrocious." By the way, let's set fire to everything because it was mince. He's not going to do that, and that's not the way that press conferences and things like that work. So Anyway, Bluebells, before I forget, I'm so sorry, I completely forgot. The Manscaped promo took over and I completely forgot about your super chat. Thank you so much, mate, for another donation. And your question, aside from lowering the wage bill, tell me what you've seen from PC era that gives you confidence we're on the path. Honestly, Bluebells, I don't know. There's nothing very much that I have seen. However, I'm at a bit of blind optimism, I think, at this point, because once we get a CEO in, once Clement's fully bedded in these players that we brought in, and I don't know how long they get for that, then we have to start seeing something. I'm really hoping, and again, I'm probably putting too much pressure on both of them, but again, Amy, I hope he offers something completely different, and I hope Ajami offers something completely different, and I hope he is brave enough to make the changes that he has to make in the current squad. I'm not going back over it, we just spoke about it. So right now, I just think there's no any point in changing the manager. I really don't. Maybe that is blind optimism. I think Clement's a decent manager. I think he's yet to show me that he's a really good manager, but he has won things, and I think he's maybe underestimated or he's been short sold the task that's been on his hands. We have to remember that the board have got Clement in to do this rebuild, if you like, but the extent of the rebuild is pretty clear for us all to see now, and maybe he's taking a bit of time to adjust to that. I think he's committed to it. I think he gets it. I think he understands the club. It's now just time for him to actually implement his ideas and put something on the park that I can look at and go, right, that was it. That was exactly what. Because even the victory over Ross County, as good as it was, winning 6-0, there was still nothing in it fully that you can go, that was Clement's team, if that makes sense. And it's going to need to happen in a big game as well. Ross, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the one thing that's, I guess, gone for Clement now, whether they got the financial back or not, it's his team, mate. It's his team. And, you know, the recruitment will always be the one thing that could potentially come back to bite him. I do think Clement's the guy, mate. In terms of what brings me optimism, I'm probably the same boat as you, mate. It's probably blind optimism, but I look at Michael Beale before he left. You could see that, again, I'm just assuming I'm a fan, but he maybe looked like he was 1 foot out the door already. Potentially Gio as well, potentially, I'm not sure. The thing with me, Clement, is, mate, I do genuinely believe he wakes up every day, goes to sleep thinking about Rangers. I think he's somebody who is more than committed to making sure the club gets back to where it needs to be, where it should always be. I think, again, it all comes back to this whole thing about patience with Clement. He's going to be the guy going forward. But at the same time, mate, we're Rangers fans. We don't have a lot of patience, so it's literally a catch-22. Yeah, it's as frustrating as it is. It's literally just seeing it out and not being too not over dramatic. It's not the word. The weekends, I wasn't on the weekend, so I didn't get to. I didn't see anything about the whole after the game stuff like that's not on, and you know, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to sum up in words, but we're going back to try to get across is that Clement is something about him it's going in the right way. Although it's doom and gloom, I think he has got something, and he's got a space in his heart for the club. Which I think the last few managers, I don't know if I had that same sort of belief. So long-winded answer, mate. Back him for just now, and let's just honestly touch wood that things start going well.
Ultimately, if he wins nothing this season, it's going to be hard for him to survive. As a Rangers manager, competing for a title as you should be, to win nothing, not I don't know many managers in the history of Rangers that have survived that, considering where we've been or where we expected to be even. So I think he's going to need to do something. He is definitely going to need to do something. But for right now, I wouldn't change it. Look, we're going to run past the hour here. Everybody that's asked a question, by the way, on our Patreon page, if I've not got to it, I promise next week on Club Live, we will start with the questions before we discuss anything else. So your question will get asked. But I'm going to finish with this one with Mark Vader because it's completely off topic and it's something a bit different. What's your favourite Chinese meal, Ross? And what cold beer do you wash it down with? And what Star Wars film would you watch? A good night, if you ask me. I'm probably going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons here. I don't like Star Wars. It's not my thing, man. It's not my bag. Never got into it. And I have tried to sit and watch them. It's not my thing. I can't go it, man. I just can't go it. It's not something that's ever really took to me. Any kind of Scorsese movie, I quite like them. I'm happy to watch any of them. I like Tarantino as well. I would easily sit and watch repeats of them over and over again. Django Unchained, probably one of my favourites. I could watch that forever, that movie. I think it's absolutely brilliant. There's many. The Departed too. The Departed, fantastic movie. If you've never seen The Departed, I implore you to go and watch it. So my cold beer of choice, it changes. It does change. It does change. I am a wee bit partial to an IPA when I'm drinking in the house. I do like bottles of Madry just now. I think they're really nice. I'm not fussy. I think you'll find that I'm not really that fussy. And in game days, with kind of before we go to the game, I drink lager tops, so I'll probably get slaughtered for that as well for drinking a cocktail. My Chinese meal depends what the missus wants. I'm not going to lie. Like whatever she wants, I've kind of got to go with. My favourite is probably beef and black bean with fine noodles, salt and chili chips. And probably ribs as well. And yes, I'd play it all myself. Yeah, because, well, this body's not made on healthy eating. Let's put it that way. Ross, you can answer that. So what's your Chinese meal, mate, first?
Hot off the press, mate. I had that for my tea this evening, and I'm right in the boat with bluebells are blue. Beef, black bean, peppers. Absolutely love it, mate. Absolutely love it. The perfect, the pre-pod meal as it is. The cold beer of choice, mate. Again, strictly my just points. Unfortunately, I'm not a drinker, lads. So I'll stick to the.
Neither you are. Sorry, Ross. I keep forgetting you don't drink, mate. I know. I'm sorry.
I'll stick to the H2O loyal. So it's a wee glass of water will do me, mate. And in terms of movie, I'm not really a movie guy. I spend my evenings watching Club Spotlight about the Hammer, which if you haven't watched it already, feel free to go and check it out there.
I didn't even need to tell you to do that, mate. You're settling in here just fine, mate. Just fine. Yeah, Club Spotlight was good. We done that on Patreon the other night. Nicky and I done it on George Albert's. It was a very enjoyable podcast to do. So I definitely go and check that out. Do you know watch movies at all, Ross? No.
I don't, mate. No, I'm not going
to. Do you watch series and stuff like that? Are you just a YouTube guy?
Literally, just a YouTube guy. I don't mind the All or Nothings, like the documentaries. They're absolutely class. They are class. But no, I mean, I'm not really a movie guy, to be honest. YouTube loyal for me.
Yeah. And speaking of YouTube, mate, give a punt to your video, please, that I will post at the end of this video as well.
Oh, thanks so much, mate. That's as just a bit of context. I'm a YouTuber myself. I post content on my own channel, just Ross McLean. And this summer, me and my younger brother were away to America to watch Argentina and Lionel Messi. So full video up from that. There's a few Rangers references in there. So it's just up to date, 3:30. So yeah, it's an exciting day. But the main event is always Club Life. So always good to be on.
Don't be daft, mate. We can promote your channel. Absolutely promote your channel. I encourage everybody to go and check it out. It's a really good watch. I've watched them. Well, since you sent me your first, I think your first one you ever done. I think you sent me,
It was, mate,
and it
yeah,
was
that's
you
the
had
one.
mentioned the podcast on it, and I was like, whoa! And that's the first time something like that ever happened to me. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I was like, that's amazing. And we've spoke ever since, mate. Hence why you're now on the podcast. We've kind of spoke ever since. But no, it's very good, mate. It looked like a hell of a trip, mate, for you and your younger brother, mate. He was spoiled rotten, mate, for his birthday. That's for absolute sure. And it
Spot
looked
on.
brilliant, mate. I envied you watching you doing it. I was like, oh man, that would be absolutely class. So, and you get to wake up and do things without a hangover. So yeah, I do envy you. I really do. And me and Ali go away together. Like I wake up in the morning rough. That just tends to be what happens with Alistair and I. So yes, Bluebells. I do not like Buckfast either. Do you know I used to drink it when I was younger, but it was more because everybody else did. I would never like see when I see people like my age now, like drinking bucket. I'm like, really? Of all the things you can drink, you want to drink bucket? Have you ever drank Ross? No, has it just always been I just not doing it?
I'm not, mate. No, I'm not. I'm the club at 22 designated driver. I always sent
Brilliant.
me his postcode the other day, so that's my job, unfortunately.
He'll take you off on that as well, mate. He will definitely take you off on
So
that.
100%.
Look, that'll do us for tonight. Look, I always love doing these pods. I generally do. I love when you ask us questions, you get your questions in. It's brilliant. A lot of people on Patreon as well asking questions. Absolutely superb. It's great to have interaction with you, and it's always a joy to do. The ones that didn't get questions asked, honestly, I promise, I will. I'll get to them next week. We'll get to them next Friday. We'll start Club Live next week and finish this Q&A before we look ahead to the game. And that will do us for tonight. Ross, thank you so much, mate. As you broke your cherry, your first Q&A pod as well, mate. So you're ticking off the boxes, mate. That's for sure.
Thank you as always, mate. Yeah, no, I've been looking forward to it all week. Honestly, it's been some cracking questions in there, and I'm already in the mood for another Chinese again after that. So, no, thank you as always, and hope everyone in the chat has a good rest of the weekend.
Absolutely, yes. And now I've started things now because people are shouting at me for saying that I don't like Buckfast and that people are not very happy. And The Sopranos, Ross, sit and watch The Sopranos, mate. I can't agree more. Sit down and watch it. Honestly, mate, if you need something to watch, but on The Sopranos, that's top draw telly. That really is. That's fantastic. But yeah, that'll do us for tonight. Obviously, we'll be back on Patreon next week. So just get yourself over there for plenty of content. There's loads over there. We've done a kind of a club classics where we watched the long highlights of a game, discussed it. Club spotlight, club transfer years. There's club nights as well. A kind of bi-daily news show. Club deck corner, you name it. Everything is over there. Plenty there, all for less than the price of a pint of beer. I'll say, because I'd imagine a pint of water being that price is pretty expensive water. So no, just head over there and thanks to everybody that signed up so far. And we will speak to you next week. I've been Scott Carney. He has been Ross McLean. This has been Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Have a good weekend, everybody. Cheers.